All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA. We have some more game wrap for you today. Just a shout out, remember to like, share, and subscribe. YouTube for exclusive content. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, or your RSS podcast feed. So that's Podcast Addict, any Android podcasting app. We are there. If you like, or if you're an Aussie and you're into the Sydney Kings, On the King's Dime is our latest podcast. We're pretty deep into the season at the moment, which has been going very nicely of late. So check that out. But remember to subscribe so that you get every episode up to date. So let's dive into some games. We have the drubbing of the Jazz by the Mavs, 118-68. I watched this game with disdain, and it was horrid.
What's up with the Jazz, man? That was just horrible.
They should be renamed the Jizz.
The Jizz.
We love the Jazz. We love Eagles and Exum, but
I don't know what the hell happened.
I think teams have worked out Gobert, and I think that they've realized that he has no elbow game, and all you have to do is bring him out and blow by him. But if you just try and drive into the rim, you're going to get blocked. But yeah, just bring him out to the elbow, and you've got so much room behind him. He's pretty slow. But yeah, Mitchell is taking way too many shots. Way too many shots. I just have to emphasize that for a bit. He was 13 of 35 against Philly in a loss.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of it, everyone was just looking at like, why are you shooting this ball?
But were they looking at him like that?
Yeah, they were. By the fourth quarter, everyone's like kind of just turning and looking, just like, okay. There's a team of basketball players here. And I just don't think, maybe he's got the green light by Quinn Snyder to go out and shoot as many balls as he likes, but he's not been terribly good at the moment. Ingles actually hit some nice points early. 8 points, 2 from 5 from 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a minus 20. Exum had 3 points, was pretty dreadful, and minus 31.
Yikes.
The Mavs just went in the third. It was pretty even. Halftime, the Mavs were up a bit, but by third quarter, it was just, I think the Jazz scored like 20 points in the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, it was 22, so it was 13 in the third quarter and 9 in the fourth quarter.
Wow, that's
terrible. Yeah, Dallas 26 and 34, a 34-9 fourth quarter. But yeah, Brokoff come off the bench. He had a couple of attempts. He had, I think, a three. He turned the corner and hit a three, and then he had like a scoop floater in the lane. But he was a plus 17, so they were running up the score. He had a couple of rebounds as well. It's good to see him. I think that was his first minutes for about 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, it was. Harrison Barnes was really good this game. The Jazz were just hitting. The Mavs were just hitting some good corner threes. The things were falling. Doncic was really good, and also Dennis Smith Jr. finally had a cracking game.
Yeah.
They shot 58% from the field, 43% from three. You're going to win most games doing that.
Yeah.
If you're shooting over 50%, you're going to win most games.
I think they said that on the telecast as well, as you're not going to lose games. If you catch the Mavs on a night when they're shooting over 50%, then they rarely lose.
Yeah.
But they haven't really put those performances together. I mean, they're starting to get a little bit of run on.
They're starting to creep back. It's something crazy, but in the West, I think first to last, if you exclude the Suns, who just lost today, is like 4.5 games. So it's a crowded. We were going to say it was going to be crowded. It's a very, very crowded run. One thing that's kind of been a little bit disappointing is Ricky Rubio. He's not been he's been taking too many shots, for my mind, and not getting a lot of guys open, which he should be doing by dribble drive and kicking. They've got some good corner three specialists in Crowder and Ingles and even Burks, but they play good teams really well and bad teams really badly.
Yeah, it's weird.
They can beat the Celtics on any night, yet they lose by 50 to the bloody Mavs. It's just terrible. Anyway, that's just a crap game, and we'll go on to the next one. This was a kind of a non-event. The Phoenix beating the Spurs. The Spurs are another enigma. Patty, 8 points, 1 rebound, which was offensive, 3 assists and 3 steals. I did see his steals. They were pretty good. He was a good pickpocket that game. Booker didn't play too well, but they seem to be able to get some other guys in. I think Ayton is legit.
Yeah.
A guy that can shoot from the elbow, can defend pretty well, not draw too many fouls, rebounds quite effectively, and has a good 1-2 game with Booker, which is always, I think they're going to be the pivotal part of obviously the next 10 years of the Suns. I think you've got to keep those two in there and build some team around it. Obviously, 3-12 they are now. They're fighting Cleveland for that first round pick, record, like RJ Barrett or Zion Williamson, sorry. So they're obviously trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to win, but then they just kind of never get there. TJ Warren's been playing pretty well as well. He scored 16 of his 27 points in the first half. And the Spurs kind of just choked down the line. I don't think LaMarcus was on that night. I think DeRozan played quite well, but they kind of struggled to get scorers outside of that. But Crawford hit some pretty nice threes as well for an old geezer. I think he was 3 on the night. But yeah, the Phoenix were on. They were at home. So it was a nice home win for their fans who have been booing them every game of late.
Well, LaMarcus, he had 3 of 12. And usually in his games where he doesn't play well or he plays against a couple of really mobile bigs, it's when he struggles.
Yeah.
It's when he gets run around a bit, run ragged. Derek White had 6 from 12. DeRozan 7 of 15. It's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Spurs team. Like, it's hot, it's cold.
Yeah, it's hot, cold. They seem to be, again, winning against plus 500 teams, losing against under 500 teams. Maybe it's just the curse of what they're trying to do. But yeah, play some weird basketball. When you watch the Spurs, you don't sometimes know exactly what they're trying to do.
But no Ariza in this game either.
Ariza was injured or out for personal reasons, I believe.
Yeah, but we move on anyway to...
Yep, the Spurs again down
Clippers.
the Clips.
Yeah, that's again the big mobile big men. Gortat played really well in this game, and Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, Danilo Gallinari playing really well. It's those guys that move the big guys around that... that's the team I was talking to you about. The Clippers have the 3 big men, like Gortat, Gallinari, and that 3 big men that run around a lot and are quick. Seem to overpower a lot of teams. Like, who was the team I was telling you about? Orlando, yeah. They have the 3 big guys that...
Vich has been on fire, so that's why they're getting some good wins and seem to be, I think they're 8-9 at the moment, which means that they're coming up and potentially in the East can sneak into that 8th spot or even 7th. But yeah, the Spurs are weird. The Clips are one of those teams that they've just kind of come out of nowhere and managed to, 10-5 or 11-5 now, I think. And
just kind of playing with like youthful exuberance, working hard and getting rewards for working hard.
Haven't really got a superstar, but just seem to be getting it done.
Lou Williams obviously is their superstar, really.
But he's a 6th man. Like, he comes off the bench. Like, he just likes coming off the bench. That's his thing. DeRozan scored 34 points and Rudy Gay added 19, but that was kind of their scoring options for that game. And yeah, that was just one of those weird things where the game just kind of seemed to get away from them with really nothing going on, like no big plays, nothing. It was just, miss a couple of shots here, another 2 points go out. But yeah, the Clips...
Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand what the Clips... We'll go through it in our over-under revisit, but I don't know where they've come from. They've just, turning it on. Gallinari's playing...
Yeah, they're all playing well as a team. That's the thing, like a champion team or a team of champions.
And Docker is not the worst coach. I mean, he's won a championship. He's not a terrible, terrible coach.
No.
And they're getting a lot more out of Gallinari. I guess Gortat is a pretty big piece too. DeAndre Jordan last year just didn't try at all.
No, I think after everyone kind of split from the Clippers, he was like, I'm just getting paid and then I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he has been doing somewhat good things at the Mavs.
Yeah.
Getting his free throw percentage up way, way above what he's been career-wise, which adds 4 or 5 points a night, which is going to be good for your team in any day shape. But Paddy, up and down.
Yeah.
Up and down. Obviously, a good piece. Seems to be hitting the big games pretty well. Then just these average kind of should-win games, not so well.
Yeah.
And Bellinelli has been hot and cold as well, whereas he really was quite hot for Philly on the back-end run last year into the final series.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy that you can't really rely on. He's a plug it into.
He's a plug-in player, but he should be giving you 12 points a night. You
Yeah,
should
but
be able to
you
run.
can't rely on that.
You can, because you should be able to run plays to give him an open curl shot. He's essentially the JJ Redick, except he's a bit taller and longer. And he does the same thing. He comes off the curl and he shoots the ball. You have to set the down screen for him.
Yeah.
You have to have some down screens. And LaMarcus isn't like that. He's too busy banging down there wanting the ball. Whereas when he played for Philly, Embiid, how many screen assists? I think Joel Embiid is leading the league in screen assists. Big guy sets a big wide screen and you can come around off the curl and shoot the ball that you were doing. That's why JJ Redick is 3rd overall in 3-pointers scored this year. I think it's like 4th in percentage, something crazy like that. So, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be setting plays for you guys that can come around the curl and shoot the ball, which I haven't seen at all for Bellinelli.
Yeah, it's mainly sort of their offense is revolving around LaMarcus Aldridge, then Rudy Gay and DeRozan. So I guess there's a spacing issue too. DeRozan's kind of your natural shooting guard as well. Like he's not a utility style shooting guard.
But this is, I suppose this is the good thing about Brett Brown, and you can say what you like about him. Everyone in that team has a play set for them. All right, we're going to get Bellinelli off the curl. We're going to get Shamet off the curl. We're going to get Redick off the curl. So all right, get a big body. Simmons set a screen. Embiid set a screen. Or let's get a bit of high-low going, some rolls. All right, Simmons back down, kick out to Shamet on the run. Like there seems to be even the depth players seem to have a role. Whereas some of these teams, they just all right, the first 5 have roles. And then when we get our second unit on, it's just like everyone just try to do a bit of everything in ISO and then, wait for the other guys to come back on. We'll set some plays. But
so
a great
here's
game.
a stat for you. How many, Joel Embiid is second top in field goals missed. Who do you think's first?
Donovan Mitchell?
Nah. Klay Thompson. He's having a terrible season. It's crazy. But you wouldn't think that, eh?
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, Joel Embiid.
You know
second.
what it is? You know what it is though? It's because Embiid gets to the line 10 times a night.
I think it's just because it's a low percentage. Posts kind of usually low percentage.
Yeah, and he's still putting up. He's still, I think, 3rd on point scoring. He's the leading point scorer. I mean, Philly have played a lot more games than a lot of other teams as well. I think they've played 4 more games as of right now than the lowest team.
I think they have played a few more games than most teams. I think the Warriors are up there.
Warriors, and I think and then you got the Cavs have only played 12 or 13, I think now.
But Embiid first in points, 498, and then Durant second with 490, and then LeBron 460. Kemba Walker.
Didn't LeBron just kind of sneak up? He was nowhere to be seen, and now he's just Kemba scored 43 again today, so that's going to change. He scored 100 points in 2 games, 7 against the Cavs. That's a really.
But we'll go through that because they played Philly.
Yeah, they did play Philly. We'll wrap that game. All right, let's go Raps Celtics. And the Celtics win this game. Bainesy, 17 minutes, 6 points, 4 assists, 1 block, 1 from 3 from the field, plus 12, and yanked late for a bad turnover.
Yeah, just before the end of the game, he tried to hand the ball off to Kyrie Irving. I think it was Kawhi Leonard, just put his arm straight through, took the ball, charged down court, and I think he passed it back to someone who hit a 3, and that was I think that put him out by about 4 with about 40 seconds to go, and then you didn't see him for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
so he kind of got yanked a little bit. But overtime's always, you go with your 5 starters.
This was the Kyrie show. This is really the Kyrie show. Back to some of his best.
Unbelievable.
He was hitting ridiculous shots, and some of the dribble drives, the stop and starts,
just fading, pull-ups, like driving, shooting the 3 ball. I think he hit a nice 3 just from a standing start near the nail, like probably a 26-footer. Just fantastic, off the glass, getting fouled, getting to the line. It was just vintage Kyrie Irving.
Vintage. He's getting back, and that's giving the Celtics a bit of a run. But they're just a weird team this year. I don't know what's happening. They just don't seem to be. Hayward seems to be that piece that is causing the misalignment in the gelling of the other minutes in the team. I don't know what's going on, but again, they seem to beat Philly every game, so I can't really say much about that. It was the first time Kyrie had at least 40 points and 10 assists in a game, and he was the first player to do it in the NBA this year, which is pretty cool. But this was really the Kyrie Irving show, and in the overtime, they just took it away.
Yeah.
Tatum
Leonard played pretty well in this game too, man. He was, every time I looked up and he was isolated on someone, he'd just drain his shot. Look kind of back to looking his best, but still he looks a little slow, man. He looks a step slow still.
Does he?
Defensively, still a powerhouse, but I feel like he's not quite that peak Kawhi yet. So hopefully, what are they, 12-2 or 12-4 or something?
12-4, yeah, they're 12-4. I mean, they're really, I think, fighting with Philly now that the Butler trade's come through to take the number 1 spot, and obviously Boston. So it's going to be those three.
Don't forget the Bucks, man.
The Bucks, but then you see them and they went cold, and they still managed to pull out the win today. Anyway, the Bucks. Yeah, I always forget about the Bucks, but the Bucks.
Yeah, it's so easy to forget about them, man.
So easy to forget about them, but yeah, the Giannis factor is he's still killing it and doing very well. Pascal Siakam, this is a good story. Siakam. Siakam. I thought the IA was silent. Siakam.
The IA was silent.
Man, this is a good story.
How good is it being
G
Aussie?
League.
Being an Aussie and not being able to pronounce names. It's great.
Mate, we're Aussies. Fuck is all.
Siakam. Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, Pascal Siakam. Well, he's essentially a writing utensil as a Pascal paint. This is a good story. G League and really just killing it this year, playing for the Raptors, getting a start, 16 points, 9 rebounds. But yeah, the Raptors have kind of had a little bit of a cold streak, lost 3 straight since their 12 victories. And, Hayward had a better night with 15 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Still defensively playing very well, but he's just not that scoring option that they need right now. He's not taking a lot of shots.
Nah, he's a bit like a facilitator, kind of third wheel almost. Yeah. It's a little bit weird, but I think they'll work it out. They're just trying to force it a little bit at the moment. And
he's now coming off the bench.
Who, Hayward?
Yes.
Really?
He's not starting. Yeah, Bain started this today, and that's it. He's happy to do so. He's still playing. He's playing the Patty Mills minutes. He's playing 35 minutes off the bench. It's like, really?
Yeah, they've just kind of got to force it in there, and hopefully he's going to gel. They've still got a lot of weapons to use and a lot of...
They've got a lot of depth. Even if they have an injury, they'll still be there.
Even Rozier's playing well off the bench. They're getting good minutes out of Yabusele and... Who's the other guy?
Daniel Thies is back as well.
Yeah, Tice come back.
Tice. After injury.
But that was a good win. I watched that game, and the Raptors just felt like all round they have ability. Like they have different things to throw out. Like Leonard defensively was solid. He was also affecting the offensive end. And then Siakam was playing well, and the other guy I can't think of the drain three. I think Wright maybe. I think it's right. And even Jonas Valanciunas is playing well. Van Fleet's playing well.
Barker's having a great
Barker's killing it. They just look like they're playing with some real fun. Like LeBron leaves the conference and they're like, woo, let's have a party. So I think it's going to be a good bloodbath at the top of the East at the end of this season though.
Yeah, it will be.
Those 5 teams, even the Pacers are looking a little bit ominous as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a shootout, I think, at the top of that.
I think we're going to start to get some separation in the next 15 games from really the top 4 and the rest of the crowd in the East. But we'll go over in our overs unders and update all that kind of stuff. Next game, Jazz and 76ers, Aussie on Aussie crime. Yeah. And this is the first time Exum and Simmons, who were both childhood friends, played against each other.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And Simmons obviously got the big win on the night. 10-8-8, 1 steal, 1 block. No Jonah Bolden. He's been sent back down to the G League now that Wilson Chandler's off minutes restrictions. Jingling Joe, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, a block. And Exum, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists.
And Exum played pretty well. He looked pretty spry, like looking quick and agile.
He's looking quick, and they seem to be just using him for 18 minutes every game. That seems to be his sweet spot. But I think... Obviously, Rubio coming off contract, we might see a bit of a flip here if they can't get Exum, maybe taking the reins. I think a lot of people are calling for it because he's a better facilitator and a much better driver to the basket. He's just got to get a bit more confident in his outside shooting. And
I don't know what's happened to Jingling Joe, man. He's
hot and
fallen
cold.
Off a cliff after that hot start.
Yeah,
Even
but
his
then he had-
defense, man, is starting to look a bit scratchy as well.
all he can do is play the pick and roll with Gobert. It's hilarious how many times a night he can play the pick and roll with Gobert.
But that's kind of how their whole offense is set up. It's kind of whoever gets the ball on the wing just runs a 2-5 or a 3-5 pick and roll, and everything just spins around in a vortex. But I don't know what's happening.
He hit an air
Jazz,
ball
man.
down the straight that was hilarious. I think scores were tied up and like he was open. It was a kick out. I think it was a Mitchell kick out. And then the Philly commentator's like, "Oh, Joe open. Oh no, it's an air ball."
The Philly commentators are pretty funny.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's first home game.
Yeah. How was that?
It was good.
How's Jimmy working out for you, mate?
Jimmy Buckets. Look, I was a bit of a skeptic. I mean, it's still early, but he single-handedly won the game against the Hornets. So I will come to that in a minute. But he had 28 points and looked really good. Embiid had 23. And a couple other Sixers played well. I think this game, Fultz played pretty well off the bench. I think he's better in that bench role, coming off and playing a good solid 14 minutes.
Fultz?
Fultz.
Yeah.
I think he hit 8 points, but coming up, practicing his pull-up shots. He's got a new routine for his free throws, which is even more hilarious. Yeah, the slappy in.
It's like a wizard with a crystal ball.
He's after he's falling out with his coach. But JJ Redick is just such a stalwart for the Sixers. Like, when you need a bucket, you just go, all right, JJ, just score.
Yeah.
And he does.
And he never stops running too. He's such a good veteran, man.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have picked him up and put him on the bandwagon. But the Jazz rallied after the first quarter and the teams went back and forth. Jay Crowder's put back after Ricky Rubio stole the ball, which was a really bad pass. It just kind of, just handed away. And Utah led with 107-105 with the minute 30 left. And then they fouled Redick. And then Ben Simmons went to town and gave the layup. And he just looked good. He's so deadly in transition. So deadly.
Yeah.
And it seems like Shamet has kind of taken that role that when Simmons gets the ball, you have to sprint to that corner and stand there because you know that they're just going to collapse the center and you're going to get a kick out three.
Yeah.
And I think that they weren't doing that for a few games. I think they've really saw that as a point of difference because most people can't keep up with him in transition. So he kind of gets to the point where he either has to go for the bucket or he stops and the play breaks down. But if Covington was always there at the spot waiting to catch and shoot. And Shamet's been doing that very well. And Butler hit a jumper towards the end to extend the lead and then it was kind of game over. Redick had 16 points. Simmons was on triple-double watch but didn't quite get there. And Donovan Mitchell had 31 points, 13 of 35.
Yeah, that was this game because you said that was the other game before.
Yeah, this game. Yeah, this
game. That's
single-handedly lost the game for the Jazz, I reckon. Just putting up random shots, and not really.
Because I only watch the highlights, so you don't see all the missed shots and stuff like that.
They were going in a run, and then he tried to shoot himself back into the game. And, I don't think Jinglin Joe got many, Mitchell is the first player to score like 34 points with 0 assists. And I think that's really the point of the Jazz at the moment is he's just this ISO player that drives into a crowd and hopes for the best.
Yeah, sometimes he hits good shots, man. Sometimes he hits he's shooting the 3-ball well, he's driving and people are letting him to get to the basket, but sometimes he just drives down these blind alleys with 3 guys at the basket and he'll just try and shoot instead of I don't know what he can do really because he's already driven down a blind alley.
Yeah, but when you've got 3 guys who are collapsing because obviously they know that Mitchell's just going to drive, kick out. But
sometimes he can't. Like sometimes he's so stuck in that mode of getting to the basket that suddenly he's got 3 guys on him. He can't do anything and he has to just try to put up a shot.
I think from this year we can definitely see why Simmons was Rookie of the Year because
they were booing Donovan Mitchell at the start of the game. Then by the end of the game they weren't booing him. But Simmons, like you said, how he plays in transition, there's a 3-pronged thing going on there in Philly. Like you've got Simmons' transition game, which he needs shooters. Then you got Embiid, who's he kind of needs good post entry to be moved around a little bit. And then you've got the Butler trade where you've got another ISO player. So there's there's three different competing things there. So I wonder how they're going to work that out. In one way, there's three different types of offense, which is good.
Yeah.
But another problem is obviously there are three completely different types of offense.
Well, I think when we see Simmons on the floor, I think that's exactly what they've done is they've said, all right, Shaman, who's probably the quickest across the court besides Simmons in transition, get to the point early, be there for the three, and Simmons kicked out, and today it went very well. Embiid, he'll just set screen assist for JJ, or he'll play post up and kick out, or he'll just try and back down and score the point. But the thing is with Embiid, he's so intelligent as a player that he draws so many fouls and gets the opposition centers in so much trouble that they end up fouling out by the end of the fourth quarter, or that the backup center's on with 5 fouls, and it just turns out that all right, Embiid's going to the line 10, 15 times a night.
That's the way you've got to play him. Like you've got to get him moving around. I think last year I've said it a few times. He got stuck in that. I'm just going to back down and then stagnate the offense.
But
basically.
Simmons seems to be the one that's just backing down.
Yeah, well, I think that works better because then Embiid's not doing it. Embiid's not just getting stuck in this one motion mindset of just trying to play in the post. I think the best way to get Embiid going is when Simmons drives off a pick and roll and he can hit Embiid in a good spot driving to the hoop because it's kind of like Gobert. He's going to finish over pretty much everyone every time. So I think as the season goes on, Embiid's going to get better and better at moving on the court. And with Butler, like I was trying to work it out and trying to think about how to fit Butler in there. But having that mid-range guy, I think, is going to give Embiid more room to move. Yeah,
it is because they'll follow him around more in that kind of outside space and not allow the double team. Butler will pull an extra guy out because he can shoot the 3-ball as well. And they knew that when
create his own shot as well.
Well, sorry, they've taken obviously the whole the first 15 games starting lineup of Fultz and Simmons, and then you could just collapse the lane. Now you can't collapse the lane. Gives Embiid a direct,
like a running start,
or he just plays the one-on-one man, and 70% of the time he's going to win that one-on-one.
From about 7 feet, shooting, he's pretty deadly.
Yeah, and he's even deadly on the post fade as well. So it's 12 feet or something like that. But yeah, smart player, good game. We'll get on to some more action now, and it was the Bulls-Bucks.
Yeah.
And the Bucks went down really early. I think the Bulls scored 40 in the first quarter and then do what the Bulls do very well, and that's just choke and be garbage. Yeah.
They're just defensively just terrible, and hot shooting can get them into a rhythm. But then once the shooting goes cold, they just really got nothing else.
They got nothing.
And so the Bucks, they don't have DiVincenzo, and Henson, I think, is out for a while now as well. I think
Henson's out for a while. I think
DiVincenzo, wrist or something like that.
DiVincenzo's out for a couple of weeks.
Shooting too many threes has hurt Henson's wrist, I think. And then you had Jabari Parker coming back to the Bucks for the first time. So I feel like that too gave the Bucks like a let's get at him, let's try and hurt him. And then
Lopez on Lopez crime.
Rollo and Brolo crime. Man, I was watching it today and just thinking, like, such a contrast, man. One, Brook Lopez, obviously, his game has evolved, and Robin Lopez just looks like an old man. He looks like a Simpsons character. It's insane. He looks like Sideshow Bob with this weird pointy beard. And Giannis was just destroying him, man, physically bumping him out of the way, bulldozing him. And then sort of halfway through the game, Thon went up for like a layup, and Rollo just snuffed it like out of here. And I was thinking, Thon's got to put his body into him, like use his body, but he doesn't have that type of body.
No,
he doesn't have the Giannis frame yet. Rollo and Brolo crime. Thon played 17 minutes. Man, he played really well in this game with Henson out. I think he's going to get an opportunity. It's a bit of a blessing
he's getting minutes
for him
every game. I think he'll get between 10 and kind of 15 minutes a game. So, like I said, it was going to be that injury that required the Thonotron to get in. He had 9 points this game, 3 rebounds, 1 steal and a block on Zach LaVine.
It was a good block too.
3 from 7 from 3, so he's obviously hitting the 3-ball quite well, not doing too well inside. Delhi had some garbage time, 1 reb, 1 assist, and it was a pretty thing. It was a dime to Thon
for the 3.
For the 3. The one thing I can say about Delhi is his passing his ability to see the court is fantastic, and I definitely think post-Bucks era that he'll be at another team running things in the backup unit because he is a valued part of the NBA. But again, they just hit the three ball really well. Bledsoe 25, Middleton and Giannis had 23. Giannis has been taking a lot more 3-point shots the last couple of games. Not hitting them, but taking a lot more shots.
Yeah, well, I think it's, what do you do with him? Like, you leave him open and say, yeah, you take that three because we don't want you bullying inside.
Yeah, of course. You let him take that three every time.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending three-sided face of different abilities. Like, okay, let him have the three ball. Okay, he's hitting the three ball. Let him get inside. Okay, he's bulldozing inside. Oh, okay, move him out to mid-range. Okay, he's just going to get inside anyway. Like, he's just got so many different avenues he can go down. He goes to one, he goes to the other.
Yeah.
And at the start of this game, like, I was watching and they were up big, and at halftime I'm just sitting there thinking, Chicago's going to lose this. They're going to lose this for sure, because once they get on a roll, unless, the only way Milwaukee could have lost that is if they beat themselves, basically.
Yeah, which they don't look like they've had that mindset this year. I think they've had the mindset that they're just going to get ahead no matter what.
They're just going to go for it. And they didn't really put up that many threes in the second half. They started to get the line a bit more.
Yeah.
And suddenly Chicago's defense was basically, there's two back and Giannis is finishing, and there's other people just pretty much getting to the lane and scoring. Bledsoe and Middleton were getting there, and suddenly there was one back, and they were just like, right, let's just go straight into the paint, bang, 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 and it just was never ending, and it never stopped. And I think they never had the lead back under 12 after Milwaukee got out to a 12-point lead in the fourth.
That was pretty much game over. They outscored the Bulls 46-17 in the third quarter. But you know what? The Bucks are always going to have that one quarter a game where they just go nuts and every three drops. And that's the problem, I think, against teams that play them that don't have the perimeter defense that is required, is that they're probably going to need to score 28 points a quarter on average, but they're just going to have one quarter a game where everything drops. And that's how they beat Philly. That's how they've been winning most of their games.
Yeah.
Is that, all right, one quarter they have a bit of a bad quarter and they probably get outscored by 4 or 5 points, but then they just go nuts one quarter and it's game over.
Well, the better teams are going to tighten the game up. Like these
I think
really
where
crap
they're going to
teams.
struggle is with Boston, and when Boston lock down the perimeter. I think the Boston's probably that team to do it. Hopefully Philly is, with obviously Butler and Embiid coming out. And
have they played yet?
Philly, I don't think they have.
Well, I'll have to look that up. But that's where they're just going to cream these crap teams. Like if Milwaukee get it rolling, they're just going to cream these teams because unless you're a team with a good coach and good systems, calling timeouts, stopping their momentum, getting in, like Boston last year in the playoffs, they were the team that basically just put two down low and blocked Giannis and said, right, go through us then, champ. And that's how they beat them. So unless your team's going to do that, I don't think you're going to beat this Bucks team, especially if they get hot and start shooting the three ball really well. But we'll go on to the 76ers and Charlotte.
This is the game that Charlotte somehow lost when Walker scored 60 points. And you don't lose a game when one of your players scores 60 points. But anyway, Simmons had a blinder, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. 9-11 from free throw, which is probably the most poignant part of the season. Is if he can get his percentage up, we're going to do a lot better. But really, this was the Jimmy Butler show. He single-handedly kind of won this game for us. The big play on Kemba, obviously with about 25 seconds left, Kemba dribbling down the right-hand side, Jimmy Butler with the block, and then grabbing the block from outside and tossing it back over his head to Simmons and calling the timeout. And then it was Jimmy Butler ISO with the 3 drain with 0.3 seconds left. So left a lot of Hornets fans very, very deflated at home on a Saturday night, but what can you say?
Oh, man, that court is awful too, that retro court.
Yeah, didn't
like it. Miami did retro great, but that Charlotte court looks awful, man. That really deep blue and the weird fade they have. Oh, it was horrible. But yeah, good win for Philly. They have played the Bucks. Actually, they lost to the Bucks.
That's right. Yeah, season, I was about to say that was the game that they kind of outscored them in one quarter, and then that was it.
But Kemba 60, crazy.
He just shot his shots were just going in.
And then that weird bang shot where he for 3 overhit it and then just off the bank and went in. It was just one of those nights. But yeah, sad that they didn't get the win. I had the feed with the Hornets commentators and they were distraught at the end.
Yeah, I did. I watched it as well. He's like, oh no, Butler hits it. And then you hear the Philly commenters like, "Oh, Butler hits it for the win." Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good game to watch. The Charlotte series for the year has been fantastic. It's gone overtime twice, 1 point each game before that. So they're very evenly matched teams.
I think they're both kind of.
It's not really. It's the Kemba Walker show. The rest, Nicholas Batum is on $25 million a year, and it's absolute garbage. Mikal Bridges is playing very well. Monk is playing well. Dwayne Bacon is doing really well. So they've got some good young pieces in there, but it's just Kemba Walker. If he's not on, they're turd. Obviously scoring half their team's points. But yeah, the Jimmy Butler show, winning that game in overtime with a great 3-point display. Utah and Boston. Well, this was some more Aussie honors in crime, and again, the Jazz getting up in this one. Like we said, they're a weird team.
It's such a weird team, man. I don't understand.
Winning games where they really shouldn't have won. Jingling Joe doing pretty well this game as well. But yeah, 98-86 was the final score. Mitchell had 28 points. Jingling Joe was facilitative with 6 assists. Low scoring game, but it's always a low scoring game when it's against Boston because they locked down pretty well. But I think what happened was the Boston couldn't get out of the range and score. Kyrie had 20 points, but then there was nothing after that. Al Horford's actually not been playing too well as of late. Bainesy, 14 minutes, 5 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. But Bainesy just playing that kind of backup role pretty well, flexible at either the 5 or the 4. Very hot and cold for the Celtics. Again, it seems to be without Kyrie, they're not doing terribly well. I don't know if that's just a fixture because they're still getting to know the team, but I think 15, 17 games with a good coach as Brad Stevens. Maybe they're not fit.
Like maybe it just they don't want to waste their body for the main season, and they're all kind of every team's kind of playing in that way where they're not at 100% intensity all the time. They know they can lose a game here and there because it's the West. It's just weird. And Joe Ingles has been hot and cold, only 7 points in this game. Donovan Mitchell,
shot
10
a
of
lot
21.
Better.
Yeah,
that's a bit better.
Still volume, so much volume, man.
Well, he's that player that can shoot. Exum had a good game as well. 10 points, 3 assists, good facilitative, hit 50% from 3. He just looks to be getting better. He looks to be getting back into some form.
7 boards too. That's good to see him rebounding because other than Gobert, obviously, they're kind of a committee rebound team. Yeah. So that means he's hustling. He's getting good minutes, especially against a good rebounding team like the Celtics as well.
Hayward 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
can't explain it. I wonder what the actual analysts are sort of thinking about this. The big guys who talk about basketball all the time, they must all be looking at this going, this is weird.
This is weird. Yeah, because Colin Cowherd says this is a generational, once in a generation team, and it's just
on paper, even Utah looks so strong on paper.
Yeah. And we've got the Bucks who are coached extremely well. We've got Philly who have added a piece. I still think if they could have got away with not losing Covington, we'd just
that would have been
absolutely
good.
Killing it now because you'd have 2 defensive players that are just behemoths.
And then that extra shooter, would have been good.
But Shamet, for a rookie, Shamet is...
he's kind of lucked out, eh? I was telling you he was a good jump shot.
Yeah, for a 26th pick, and he's good defense, he's quick, he hustles well, he's a 3-and-D player. And he's just going to get better and better. And you've got, I don't know, the Philly team feels like it's complete kind of. I still think Wilson Chandler is a bit of the low poke at the 4. Doesn't really add much to the team, just another body to throw in for a $12 million one-year contract. But it's good to get Bayless off. And at the end of the year, if we trade out Fultz, we'll have another max contract in there. So it potentially could be a big 4.
Yeah. And that I think I still think now kind of the tables have turned, and now the East looks like it's going to be like a 16 bloodbath at the top.
Yeah.
Whereas the West, I don't know. Maybe they're just taking the eyes off the prize a little bit and just we can lose a game here and there. It's all right. We won't. As long as we don't get injured, boys, we'll take an L if we don't get injured. That's all good.
Well, let's get on to the Warriors. Your Warriors.
The Warriors.
KD getting very angry in this game and swearing at some spectators.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I'm so over just all the drama surrounding that. Every time there's this micro drama, it's always days and days and days of analysis.
It's Bubba Gump. Bubba Gump needs to shut his mouth. Dave agreed. He looked like Bubba Gump.
But it's his team, man. He's correct, man. It's his team. I think he's battling injury, and he's at a crossroads with his game as well.
He's defensively behemoth.
His shot's fallen off a cliff, and I reckon that's kind of affecting his mentality too, because that's. He prides himself on his game, but if your game has got a problem with it, you're going to turn a bit crabby about everything.
Yeah.
So I think he's sort of getting in his own head. I would not be surprised if in the next couple of months he starts hitting his shot and everything starts to roll again. Klay Thompson's just been playing terrible all round, not very well too, not fitting, I guess.
This is the Steve Kerr era. They're now 22-22 without Curry, and with Curry they're 247-52.
Yeah.
So we know who the MVP on that team is.
Man. No Curry, no party, I always say.
Yeah, no Curry, no party. And Durant is a fantastic piece. He's not a team.
But he's also in a mode of, I can do it without this guy, watch. And then you're like, man,
he's not LeBron.
No, stop it. But that's how these guys are. They want to do that. He wants to go, all right, Curry's out. I'll make us win 6 out of 6. Watch. And then you're like, no, we didn't. We went 1-5. And then it affects his game too.
It affects his game.
Klay seems to be the only one who's just totally emotionless. And I don't care if I get my 24 shots a night. I don't care if I go 9 of 24. I don't care if I go 17 of 24. Great. Type of thing. And he had that big game where he hit the record threes, yet he's got the most misses this season. It's just basketball this season is just weird. But the Mavs,
Doncic, mate, rookie of the year, it looks like.
I think so too, man. He played really well, and he had something to play for in this game. If you're looking at the box score, obviously down the bottom of this box score, you got Damian Lee playing a lot of minutes, then Quinn Cook. They're not top tier guys.
No, they're not. I mean, look, you have to look at the Warriors roster. You've got 5 All-Stars. You are going to have some very poor bench depth. I mean, you're lucky you got Livingston, who is somewhat of a serviceable player. Cook is good. Jordan Bell has just fallen completely off a cliff.
Yeah, but he's not quite that player yet. He's still raw.
But he was much better last season.
But he fit better. You know what I mean? He fit into this team a lot better, and he was sort of protected by D West, was that extra guy. Zaza, he had they started the season with Zaza, but he's a wind-up player. He's like a thumb maker. He wants to block shots, trying to get these guys to do fundamental things.
Yeah.
And as a committee, trying to get 22 and 23-year-olds to do the fundamentals properly on a team with such high caliber stars.
Yeah.
It must be hard. You got Looney, Damian Jones, and then
Iggy's been terrible as well.
Who's that? Damian Jones.
No, Iguodala.
Oh, Iggy, yeah, but that's regular season. Iggy is just like that. That's how he is, man. If you're judging him by the box score in the regular season, you just go straight to the playoffs and you're just like, wow, he just completely transforms into a totally different player. I think that's just because he's 34 years old. You don't want to waste your body. And that's where I think this team too is just look, don't waste everything in the regular season. Let's just get to the finals.
Yeah, but that's it. They're going to get to the finals and they're going to win. They're going to be in the championship round, and it's just who's going to play them, Toronto, Celtics, or the Philly. And
but enough about that. Let's talk about the Mavs, man. The Mavs coming back up. Doncic playing well. DeAndre Jordan playing really well as part of the team. Dennis Smith Jr. playing a little bit better. But yeah, look, they're top 5. Harrison Barnes has been shooting the ball very, very well. He struggled when he came back initially. I thought, oh no, Harrison Barnes coming back into this team. He doesn't fit. Now he's getting into a rhythm. He's getting some good minutes.
They seem to be getting on a bit of a roll, playing a bit better defense. But yeah, on a night where no Steph Curry, then it's going to be pretty hard to walk away with the the win for the Warriors, but you know, I just think the Mavs are getting on a bit of a roll. It seems like everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
They've also kind of got a try big man Chubb lineup as well with Powell, Kleber, and you know they can put DeAndre Jordan in there as well, or Mejri. Mejri hasn't really been playing, but the fast lineup, the fast big guys,
the fast Chubb,
yeah, and then Spurs, Warriors. That just happened yesterday, and that was another. You know, the Warriors just lose games down the stretch of games. Clay had 11 of 26, though. You know, he shot a little bit better.
Patty hit a big three down the stretch.
Big dagger. That was good. I was watching the end of that game, and I think they trapped DeRozan up high right on the halfway line, and they passed it out to LaMarcus, and then Patty's wide open, and I'm just like, and that's game. And then, game, Patty Mills. Like, yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was bittersweet. But, man, Patty played well in this game. It's good to see him playing well and integrating into this lineup because, you know, he's obviously coming off the bench and he's not getting that starter role, but he's still contributing, man. It's good to see.
Yeah, he's playing very well. And it's where he's not on the court. He takes it very far, always moving, very nippy. And takes a lot of guys away from key areas and can draw a lot of guys away from LaMarcus. That's what I noticed as well. He single-handedly draws guys away from LaMarcus, which helps him post up and play that post-up role, which he's so accustomed to doing. But DeRozan had 20, LaMarcus had 24 and 18 rebounds. So he was obviously having a good old feast on the Warriors boards.
They're young guys, you know, and Damian Jones, Bell only played 6 minutes. Damian Jones, he only had 3 rebounds, and he's the main rebounder. Jerebko is another guy who's playing, and Durant had to do a lot of rebound. That takes it out of him as well, man. Like on the offensive end, you know, if he tries to take over Durant, it's kind of like that's not what the Warriors do. You know, like if you didn't try to take over and you just tried to play within the structure of the system, that'd get a lot more effectiveness out of Durant.
Yeah.
But I understand, man, he's in a position where I've got to show these guys who I am all the time, no matter what. Because one tiny little blow up and there's 5 days of press like, the Warriors, they're going to fall apart. It's finally going to happen. And you're just like, man, it must be so taxing and so draining.
Yeah, especially when they're fighting internally. But Durant does look like he's a bit rattled.
He's kind of like that, man. He's not a mentally tough guy. Like he's not like Draymond. He doesn't have that junkyard dog mentality. Like he's a craftsman of the game. Like when everything's going great, that's great. But when it's not,
it's
like not everyone can bounce back from that.
No,
not everyone can be like Patrick Beverley, you know, hustling every night.
All right,
I think that's it. There's some games today.
There's been some games today. We'll obviously come back in a few days and do a game wrap up. But stay tuned for the very next podcast because we're going to be doing a bit of a review of the over-unders, seeing where all the teams at, what we're surprised about, what we're disappointed with, who's really the standout of the year so far. And don't forget, we are also going to come up with a bit of a G League special. So you know about all our Aussie action in the G League, and there is tons of it.
And doing well too.
Doing very well. Yeah. Mitch Creek is absolutely blasting it for a 6'6" power forward. Crazy good. And we'll talk about some of the guys in Europe and what's happening on there. So check that out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube for exclusive content, and then you can find us on iTunes, our Podcast Addict, and any RSS podcast app.
Yeah, give us a rating on iTunes, 5-star.
5-star rating.
Yeah.
We've obviously got a lot of content for you guys, wrapping up all the Aussie action. So it always helps to rate, like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back very soon with the next episode. Peace.
Peace.